So I think it could have been a lot tougher, frankly, Henry. If I hadn't had the history that I had, if I had just sort of grown up in a fairly well-to-do family, and let's say my parents had paid for me to go to school in the US, I'd gotten into Bridgewater, I think I might have relied a lot more on the trappings of the position around me than I did on what did God think about this? What was the nudge? What was the calling? Why was I here? What was I doing, right? And I think oftentimes we struggle with those two pieces, right? So we pray and we ask God to help us do certain things, and we try to walk by faith, and He puts us in these incredibly privileged positions, and it is very, very difficult to not forget. It's easy to forget once you're in those positions how you got there, why you're there, and not appreciate the fact that you're only there for a season. You're there to steward certain things, to accomplish certain things, and only in looking back do you realize that if you keep with those seasons, you will do some phenomenal things. And if you overstay your season in a particular place, it's not like you'll kind of fall off a cliff or anything, but you'll miss out on a bunch of really cool stuff. And when I start to talk about some of the things we're doing in Africa, I mean, they are phenomenal things, right? I've gone from, trying to be a good investor, trying to run a good business, be respected in a certain space, to affecting millions of people with our investments, literally seeing millions of people's lives change. And I'll talk about examples. So I think what helped me during those times, Henry, is I looked back on the journey and I realized that this journey had very little to do with me and my abilities, and everything to do with being guided and being nudged in a particular direction. So when the nudge came, I realized it was time to leave. And so then putting the trappings within that context made it easier than it otherwise would have been, I think, to walk away. I mean, when I just to give you a practical sense of that, I mean, when I decided to go work for McKenna, I had a 15-minute conversation with Ray Dalio. I basically called him and I said, hey, I want to talk about something. And Ray Dalio and I, which was fortunate for me, had built both a professional relationship and a personal relationship over time, right? And so when I sat down with him, I said, I have this great opportunity to be one of a handful of people that have worked here and can go work for a large global endowment, investing lots of money in all kinds of things, getting great experience. His first reaction was not a typical hedge fund owner. The typical hedge fund would kind of call security. How can you do this to us? We did all these things for you that sort of lead you out the office, right? He said to me, well, let's talk about this opportunity. What do you like about it? Do you know these people? Do you trust them? What do you want to do? And then he said, look, if I was your age and this came along, I would absolutely do it. Now, the question is, how are we going to transition out? You're the first person in your position that is leaving, that's not being fired or not retiring. And we essentially had a handshake. I said to him, I will leave when we're all good here. That's basically the deal. Like nothing written down. I'll just leave when everyone's happy here, right? And that's what I did. And to this day, we've maintained that personal relationship. But I think that all comes back to, again, in my view, the providence of God, the hand of God, the unseen hand of God, guiding, helping, nudging, taking you out of harm's way, right? Sending people your way that are helpful at the right time and so on.